Hello and welcome to bonus episode number 1 of Kirby and the Forgotten Land. During my playthrough, I made an effort to read all the descriptions for the gacha figures I collected, but there were a ton that I collected off camera towards the end. So just for the sake of completion or whatever, I felt the need to read all the remaining descriptions I haven't read out loud yet. I also use this as an opportunity to talk about certain aspects of the game and my thoughts on them too. So this video ended up being kinda like a review as well. Let's get right into it. The Ranger's Great Discovery. The new world is filled with danger and temptation. Any unexpected detour during your adventure could lead to a mountain of treasure. How many other surprises are hiding out there? There's only one way to find out. At this point, I already know about all the secrets this game holds. I managed to find 2 of them, and let me tell you, finding a hidden secret on your own is incredibly satisfying. I found a hell room! I never find these on my first playthrough. The 2D games already had their fair share of puzzles and secrets, but 3D games definitely lend themselves better to such things. Adventure together. Bandana Waddle Dee and Elfalin have joined Kirby's victory dance. Kirby's dancing is cute and carefree, but his singing voice is super powerful. Let's all sing along with him next time. Woohoo! Great job, Kirby! You know, maybe one day I'll experience this game in multiplayer, but it's not really at the top of my priority list. I do still wish Bandana got his own Meta Nightmare-esque mode, and I was so sure that this was gonna be it since he's already playable in the game. There's still a possibility of free updates like Star Allies had, but if not, then oh well, there's always next time. Rabaroo and Orabaroo. The little one? That's Rabaroo. The big one? That's Orabaroo. The O is for oh my gosh, look at how high they can jump. Try not to be under one when they land. Their fellow critters like to pet them because they're so fluffy. Don't touch the tail, they hate that. Knockadile. This robust swimmer has a powerful jaw. It floats on the water's surface, watching and waiting for its prey. Its hide is as tough as armor, so you'll need something bigger than a copy ability to take him down. Do you think a mouthful mode could do the trick? Poison Crocum. Poison Crocum is a giant frog covered in icky, sticky poison. The gunk covering its body protects it from all attacks, but a quick splash of water will wash it clean to reveal a beautiful and vulnerable blue hide. It must have a great skincare routine. Primal Awufi. Original Wasteland is the birthplace of the Beast Pack, so it's no wonder the Awufis found there are more wild than their far-off cousins. They're more aggressive in every way, from their bark to their bite. Their primal ancestors must be pleased. Snacker. This ravenous reptile can swallow its enemies whole. Once it spots its prey, it'll slither after it as swift as it can. Some of the things it tries to swallow seem unreasonably large, but its stretchy body allows it to gulp them down. Wait, why does that sound familiar? While all of the basic enemies in this game have a figure, only the new ones to this game have a description. That makes sense, especially because they add some small characterization to the beast pack itself, but it did make me wish that some of the returning enemies got descriptions too. Until I remembered that Rainbow Curse had the exact same thing essentially. Wild Bonkers. The mysterious vortex brought Bonkers to the New World too. They arrived before Kirby and quickly joined the ranks of the fearsome beast pack. They really like their new look and they're getting along with their new co-workers, especially the Mookies. Wild Edge. The mysterious vortex brought Gigant Edge to the New World too. They arrived before Kirby and fell in with the ranks of the Beast Pack. Despite the wild wardrobe change, they really stand out among the rest of the pack, but they'll still guard their stations with ferocity. Florina. Florina always puts on an elegant show when she attacks. Don't get too caught up in her performance, or you'll get caught up in her tornado to match. She is very dedicated to her dance career and thinks of every battle as a new lesson. They keep her on her toes. I feel like this game has less mid-bosses than usual. Whatever, it's not that big of a deal anyway. especially since they all had to be built from the ground up. Nice to see Tornado get its own mid-boss. Blueprint. These precious paper plans will show you how to upgrade your copy abilities. Kirby can't do much with them on his own, but the Waddle Dee in the weapon shop can use them to dink-donk-bunk each ability to be even more powerful. What a skilled engineer! So I went into this game inferring that not only were these abilities going to be somewhat simplified, there were also going to be a lot less of them. But these upgrades, in my opinion, totally make up for that. It's also an incentive to go through the treasure roads, which is how you gain the currency required to upgrade them. The treasure roads are great because not only are they fun little challenges, they also teach you the mechanics of each ability and their upgrades. I compared the treasure roads to the challenge stages from Return to Dreamland, and while they're definitely similar, treasure roads are more incorporated into the game itself rather than being a side mode. While I do still miss the move list of each ability on the pause screen, this is a much more fun way to show the player how each ability works. I do kind of wish there was a better reward for getting under the target time though. I mean, come on, a measly 50 coins? Tornado. Pull enemies, blocks, and stars into your cyclone, then release them to deal damage. This ability's controls might make you dizzy, so whirl, swirl, and twirl, but try not to hurl. Just one more minute, please. Oh, come on, I'm just sleepy. Just let me recover some health with a bit of rest. Frosty Ice. Frosty Ice gives you chilling powers. And a really cute hat. Blow out freezing blasts of air and create a line of snowmen. Aw, they all have Frosty's face. He must be so proud. Pencil Drill. This drill evolution is mighty and graphite-y. It's not ideal for riding, but you can use it to launch out of the ground and shoot out pencil rockets. Now that's the right stuff. Noble Ranger. The most experienced of marksmen requires the fanciest of hats. Fire a barrage of shots with dual-wielded pop guns. You can release a flurry of charge shots too. Pew 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 pew! Crystal Needle. Ooh, how pretty! Ouch, and sharp! Release the button while rolling to launch spiky crystals in front of you. You'll also roll longer and leave spikes in your wake. Dragonfire. Become a legendary monster with the power of a dragon. Spew fire like a flamethrower, jump, attack, and glide through the sky. You can do all sorts of dragon-y stuff. Homing Bomb. Toss a homing bomb and then watch it get to work. It'll patrol the area until it spots an enemy, then race towards them and explode. Chain bombs together to corner your foes. Meta Knight's Sword. The Meta Knight's Sword has a bunch of cool attacks, just like its namesake. Sword slide, jump, and attack to use upper caliber. With full health, you'll even sling crescent shots. Space Ranger. Blast off, Space Ranger. Fire laser beams from your trusty laser gun. If a fully charged shot hits an enemy, you'll be caught in a flurry of sparks and take extra damage. Storm Tornado. Ominous clouds, powerful winds. This scary storm roars to life with the press of a button. Pull enemies into your cyclone by swirling into them, then attack with lightning. Walk to bed and get all cuddly cozy. You'll show everyone your full potential after you wake up. Oh, come on! This would have been a perfect opportunity to give Sleep a moveset similar to its one in Battle Royale. Give the fans what they want, Hal. They voted for this one. At least the buff it does give is a useful one. It actually makes it worth picking up if you spot a naughty in the wild, so that's nice at least. Wild Hammer. This hefty hammer is made from super tough stone. It's too heavy for quick hits, but each powerful swing will deal explosive damage. You'll even crack the ground itself. Twin Drill. Unleash brutal attacks with double the drill power. Your speed and damage are both increased, and you can attack enemies above you while still burrowing below. I remember thinking Drill was like totally OP, but then I saw Mast Hammer and Morpho Knight's Sword. Before the final battle, a fluttering fiend arrives to cast its judgment. This dangerous weapon grants that form to any who wield it. For Kirby, handling this power is a breeze. Remember when I said the treasure roads help teach you the mechanics of every ability? Well, turns out there are 2 moves that Morpho Knight Sword has that I had no idea about until I was pretty much done with the game, both of which involve holding the shield and attack button. No other ability in the game has something like this to my knowledge. But even not knowing those 2 moves, this ability is incredibly powerful. And it heals you. I think the Mast Hammer is still stronger overall, but Morpho Knight Sword is absolutely easy mode for the Colosseum. Archmouth Kirby. Now he can stuff an entire metal arch into his mouth. This form turns you into a graceful glider that soars on the wind. Steer through tight spaces and use your spin tackle to swat away enemies. Enjoy your flight. Boating Ringmouth Kirby. Now he can stuff an entire metal ring into his mouth and use it for boating. Use blasts of air to move your boat and slam into enemies. You can even bust through cracked walls. Scissor Lift Mouth Kirby. Now he can stuff an entire scissor lift into his mouth. Raise and lower yourself to reach items and dodge enemy attacks. You can also spit the lift out while extended to reach the top of tall platforms. Pipe Mouth Kirby. Now he can stuff an entire pipe into his mouth. Get a good forward roll going and nothing can stop you. Assuming you time your jumps over gaps well, that is. This comparison has been made before, but Mouthful Mode feels pretty similar to Super Mario Odyssey's capture mechanic. You temporarily take control of something other than the normal player character and can do different things based on it. I think it's very well executed here. In previous games, you're often locked into a separate mode for a relatively long stretch of time. That's not necessarily a bad thing, of course. The way Robobot does this type of mechanic feels very natural. Mouthful Mode's transformations are a lot more brief and spontaneous. Often you really only use them for a few seconds at a time, maybe a few minutes at most. I quite like how they're handled here. To be honest, when this game was first revealed, I didn't think it had or even needed a mechanic like this due to just being the first big 3D game in the series. When the mechanic was first shown off, I think I and everyone else watching kind of had this visceral reaction due to how weird it looked. But Mouthful Mode, I would say, improves the game experience greatly. Even if most of them are pretty simple, they mix up the gameplay in a really fun way, I think. My life is better after having seen this. Big Rig Mouth Kirby. To save 2 worlds, Kirby's final mouthful must be his biggest. It looks like a lot to handle, but he seems totally fine somehow. Go, Kirby! Carry your and Eliphalin's combined hope for the future. Race through the sky and deliver the final blow! Who would win? The ultimate life form capable of warping space itself filled with rage after having been locked in containment for an undisclosed amount of time? Or a piece of bubblegum stretched over a semi-truck? This is really close to being my favorite finale in the entire series. Robobot still comes out on top for me because of the absolute bombshell it drops on you, but like, you're speeding through the end of the world, driving on all this debris with the invincibility candy music playing in the background, and you run the final boss over with a truck. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Lethal Leopard Cloverline. Cloverline tried to cut your adventure short at the Wandaria Circus. She normally acts as a point of contact for the Beast Pack's boss, but she couldn't resist the chance to track Kirby down herself. Her grace and speed are quite impressive, so the rest of the pack think of her as an idol. She has lots of fans. Armor-plated Prancer Silly-Dillo. Silly-Dillo is an incredible dancer, as long as the dance involves spinning. It's a nocturnal critter, so it can see quite well in the dark. It seems to have orders from its boss to find something important, but all it brings home is junk. What was it supposed to find again? Something small and floaty? This game is some of the most fun I've had with bosses in this series in a long time. I can't really explain my thoughts on the matter very well. maybe it's just giving them a third dimension that makes them more fun to me. Or maybe it's this game's tweaks to combat. There's one big change to how combat plays in this game, other than being in 3D, and it's the all-important slow-mo dodge roll. Some of the 2D games had a sidestep similar to this, but in this game, dodging an attack at the right time slows down time for a moment and allows you to do a strong counterattack. It's pretty similar to Breath of the Wild's Flurry Rush mechanic. Timing these counterattacks is super satisfying. Once I figured out how to do it well, it completely changed how I approached bosses. The Lone Swordsman Meta Knight. The mysterious vortex brought Meta Knight to the Near World too. He quickly tasked himself to finding a way back to Popstar until the Beast Pack attacked Waddle Dee Town. The besieged settlement needed protecting, and a swordsman never ignores a chance to train. A duel with Meta Knight. Meta Knight arrived in the world shortly before Kirby. He did some early scouting and reached as far as the snowy north before deciding to return and protect the town. Now he keeps watch for beastly invaders from his perch by the Colosseum. He's battled Goromondo 30 times and won every bout. I appreciate how they incorporated Meta Knight into this game, in a way that's still perfectly in character for him. They could have just as easily made him mind-controlled like Dedede, but nah, dude just wants to train. If you fight him with sword, you can clash with one of his attacks, leading him to drop his sword. And you can pick it up and use the Meta Knight sword upgrade early? This was such a delight to accidentally discover. I wonder if I can steal his Galaxia. Oh my god! 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 Plus, now that he's dropped his trusty Galaxia, he pulls out a different sword that looks exactly like the one from his Kirby's Adventure art. Even if it's chipped and damaged now, it's kind of cute to think that he kept it all this time. Destined Rivals. Planet Popstar's destined rivals. That's how King Dedede usually describes this special relationship, so he was crestfallen when he arrived in the New World and couldn't find Kirby. By the time they finally met, Dedede had changed from friendly rival to menace. This guy is so shaped. Even if it looks a little awkward sometimes, I am a big fan of this redesign. Look at him! It really brings to mind his designs from Dreamland 3 and 64. One thing I think they had in mind with this design is allowing his mouth to stretch and emote a lot more. This little smile at the end made my heart melt. He's so cute! King of the Beasts, Leon Gar. Here sits the powerful commander of the ferocious Beast Pack. He's become a pawn for an invading specimen from beyond the stars, tasked with gathering food, capturing the Waddle Dees to use as a power source, and, most importantly, retrieving the lost subspecimen tagged as IDF-87. Yeah, I don't have any strong feelings towards Leon, unfortunately. He feels like he's only there to fit the role, if that makes sense. The story writers were like, okay, we have to have this guy who's nothing more than a pawn for the actual villain, and then they just did that, without even making him slightly interesting. The game tries to give him this redemption of sorts, and it's a little heartwarming, but I just don't care about this character because the game didn't give me a good reason to. I only saved him because this cat lady told me to, not because I wanted to, you know? Invasive species, Fectoforgo larva. When IDF-86 arrived, it began attacking all of the native wildlife. The creature was captured soon after and turned into a test subject. The native inhabitants used it to create tech beyond their wildest dreams. They eventually used that tech to leave the planet altogether, but IDF-86 remained, forgotten and fractured. Alright, full disclosure, I was originally going to talk about how this line and this line connected the series lore, but as my script got longer and longer, I realized it would be much better suited for a separate video, so stay tuned for that, I guess. Invasive species, Fectoforgo. The invading species, alone and incomplete without Elfilin, was trapped in the Eternal Capsule. Their only refuge was the realm of their dreams. Those dreams spread powerful waves of psychic energy all over the world, slowly taking control of the animals they reached. Escape would require more energy. Jesus Christ, and I had nightmares about Zero 2 back in the day. I pity the poor kid that sees this in their sleep. I love it when this series gets creepy. And wow, they really didn't shy away from that here. I am here for it. But have you noticed how the main lion face here looks way different in the actual battle than to how it looks in the cutscenes? The version here looks way more lifeless and creepy to me. My personal theory is that the cutscene version was the original design, but some higher up was like, hey, this might be a little too scary for a kid's game. Could you make it a little less terrifying? But for whatever reason, they didn't change the design in the cutscenes. I don't know, that's just my own speculation. Piece of Leon's soul. After their fight with Kirby, IDF-86's body was destroyed, but their powerful mind survived. They fled to the isolated isles of their own dreams and brought Leongar with them. To prepare this new vessel, they cast out Leongar's soul, shattering and scattering it throughout the realm of Forgo Dreams. So, Forgo Dreams is like the halfway point between Meta Nightmare and Heroes in Another Dimension. It reuses level design for a different context like the former, but it has a ton of collectibles that you have to find a certain amount of to unlock the end, like the latter. However, I greatly prefer how Heroes in Another Dimension did things, particularly its level segments that were designed especially around one ability or character. You really had to master each unique moveset in order to collect everything. Forgo Dreams kind of does this, but to a lesser extent. Though to be fair, the treasure roads fill that role too. Illusory Fronds, Phantom Tropic Woods. This phantom in the form of tropic woods has grown mysteriously strong after the illusory sunlight of Forgo Dreams. Do you think its coconuts are illusions too? Wonder what they taste like. Real quick, why did we fight this tree again? Like, every other boss in the main story is linked to the Beast Pack somehow, but there's no explained link for tropic woods, so what gives? Illusory Leopard, Phantom Cloverline. The real Cloverline asked Kirby to help her save Leongar. This phantom feline is a fake. Formed from negative thoughts and powerful psychic energy, this wild beast doesn't seem to care about Leongar at all. She may be an illusion, but her claws will cause real damage. Armor-plated illusion, Phantom Sillydillo. Formed from strong psychic energy and modeled on specific memories of his role in the real world, this phantom copy of Sillydillo will forever wander Forgo Dreams, searching high and low for Elfilin and Kirby. At least his dance moves are still impressive. His illusory nemesis, Phantom King Dedede. This Dedede double is made of powerful psychic energy. It's an illusion of the king based on memories of his embarrassing turn under IDF-86's control, forced to work for Leongar and capture Elfilin. It has no memory of Kirby or the adventures they've shared. It's little more than a haughty, hollow husk. Illusory Primal Nemesis, Phantom Forgo Dedede. Forgo Dedede was formed when Leongar gave the already controlled king a mask to further cloud his mind. He was then tasked with guarding the only entrance to Lab Discoverer. This phantom copy, based on memories of his terrifying turn, is somehow even stronger and more dangerous than the original. Possessed Beast, Forgo Leon. The specimen tagged as IDF-86, left formless and floating after a humiliating defeat, fled to Forgo Dreams to plot their next steps. Create a new army of phantom beasts, then claim Leongar's body as their own. When Kirby arrived to force them out, IDF-86 had no choice but to reveal their own phantom form. Fluttering Dream Eater, Morpho Knight. The fluttering fiend that casts judgment upon final battles is drawn towards the isolated isles of Forgo Dreams. There, it feasts on the most powerful soul it finds, and takes the fearsome form of a scarlet-clad knight. Let the most challenging battle of this new world begin! I will say it was kind of funny to see everyone, myself included, freak the hell out over this butterfly in the intro, and then have that suspicion be proven. No one in this fanbase is ever gonna trust butterflies ever again. Meow, meow! Wake up, Leon! The soul fragments collected by Kirby and Coraline have been returned to their owner. Leongar, now restored as Leon, is free of IDF-86's corrupting mind control. This world is in good paws once again. And there you have it. That's all of them. I know this video was kind of weirdly paced, but I not only wanted to wrap up the remaining figure descriptions, but also share some of my opinions on certain aspects of the game. It's also the first time I've done any sort of scripted review type content, and I had a lot more to say in that vein than I thought it would, so I figured sharing my thoughts and opinions on the game would make a slightly more interesting video than just me reading all these descriptions and whatnot. I don't know. But thank you for watching all the way to the end. I do have at least one more video I consider like a bonus episode to this series, and then maybe some more Forgotten Land related content here and there. So if you're interested in that, I recommend sticking around. But until then, I am signing off for now. Bye-bye.